Hi, I'm John Spade, and this is The Egg. It's November 30th. It's the last day of November. I thought it prudent that I do an egg one last time before I shave this off, because of course it is Movember, and a great cause, and many success stories. Lots of friends that participated this year and raised thousands of dollars amongst them. And you know what? Can't wait till next year. We're going to try it again. See if I can grow something not quite as ugly as this. It's been a rough couple of days for me. I'm not gonna lie. Sunday, I said goodbye to my dog. Porsche was 10 years old, and I had her since she was a puppy. And you know, she kind of knew she was ready, and we'd been expecting this for quite a few months now, and it happened. I got to say goodbye to her. And for that, I'm really happy, and I know she's in a better place now. All right, try to move away from that, talk about some stuff that's going on in the news, because that's kind of what the Egg's all about. Wikkileaks, what do you think? I'm torn. I have two very strong opinions about Wikkileaks, and as always, when I do the Egg, sometimes I exaggerate my position because I really want to push buttons so that I can engage people. And I'm not going to lie, there are times where I really do go to the extreme. And I do it for effect because, unfortunately, I don't think people are listening anymore. I really don't. And I know this because you take what's happened in Canada, for instance, Wikkileaks, one of the things that they blew open was that we had government lobbyists go down to the United States and try to lobby the American government to kill the environmental bill. Because, of course, it's not good for business. It's not good for big oil business. And a day after that happened, Harper, our prime minister, comes to the media and says, there might have been a misunderstanding. We don't know anything about people in our government going down and doing something like that. It makes me think that people's attention spans are so short that it doesn't matter what Wikkileaks does. They can put it all out there because the reality is people want sound bites. They want their news in nice little neat packages. They don't want to deal with too much, and the less ugly it is, the better. And if this wasn't true, then stupid fucking papers wouldn't be putting out the happy news. And when I saw it, the first time I saw it, I was like, really? Is that where we've come to? Fuck the truth. Let's throw a whole bunch of garbage out there that doesn't make any sense, that we should be questioning, but we don't. And then we'll put a little segment that's called the good news of the day. They say no news is good news. And we should really keep it that way. Because news is about information. And there should be truth in it. The same way, you know, and when I talk about Wikkileaks, and I have two opinions. The transparency of Wikkileaks, to me, is a godsend. It is the best thing that could possibly happen. And I'll tell you why. Because with transparency, governments can't pull bullshit, stunts behind closed doors and get away with it anymore. And the sooner they realize that, the quicker we'll get on to having government that's effective and acts in the best interest of the people. How's that for idealism for you? Then, of course, there's the other side of the fence when it comes to Wikkileaks, and maybe they've gone too far because they're embarrassing governments now. And is that effective? Because ultimately that could cause anarchy and could bring the whole system down. I'm not sure that's in our best interest either. Is there a way to show restraint without censorship? It's really hard to say at this point. I think it's going to be interesting. Obviously, in the next couple of months, the way Wikkileaks plays out everybody should be watching it, because we're talking about our liberties here. The government wants to shut them down. They are facing basically, there are people out there trying to hack the site 24/7 now. And Wikkileaks, they probably spend half their time trying to effectively stop that from happening. And anyone that's telling me that governments aren't paying some of the best hackers out there to try to get in and shut Wikki down, because we're at a point now. I mean, what's the government going to do? Are they going to go in there and they're going to storm Wikileaks office and take them by force? It's on the world stage. Of course, they can't afford that kind of backlash and that kind of exposure. So let's do it in a more backhanded way. The world is interesting because it's not always what it seems. And if you follow Wikileaks and all the little stories that are coming out, I love it. About 8 months ago, I did a blog on our Alberta healthcare system. Now in Canada, we are considered to have one of the best healthcare systems in the world. That's really questionable these days. And it's not getting any better. And my argument when I talked about it back then, and I'd have to go and dig through one of the blogs I did on whatever site, but my feeling was, without seeing the WikiLeaks documents, was the government was intentionally sabotaging healthcare in this province so that the lobbyists that are coming to them who have ulterior motives, who want to basically instill a privatized healthcare system, can effectively do so. Because the system in Alberta is so broken now, it would be almost impossible to fix. They went as far as, and now I remember actually thinking about it, what the topic of, the whole blog that I did was, because our government, January of this year, basically waived healthcare premiums. So guess what, guys? You don't have to pay them anymore. We don't know where the fuck the money's going to come from, but guess what? You're off the hook. Now, this should have sent an alarm up for a lot of people. They should have been going, wait a minute. Our system's already in trouble. We're running a deficit. We don't have adequate health care. People are dying in the hallways of hospitals. And yet you're telling us that we don't have to pay the premiums anymore. Should be a wake-up call. Anyways, WikiLeaks documents are showing that, yes, conspiracies aside, there are factions operating in such a way that they're trying to shut down basically Tommy's dream of universal health care. And we could be looking and facing the very real prospect that we're already starting to introduce it here and around Canada, where if you want a better form of health care, and if you have the money, it's all yours. Have at it. You won't have to worry about the long waits. If you're gravely ill and you're dying, well, there's a good chance they can save you. If you don't have the money, too fucking bad. We're going to take the American stance on it. You know what? Healthcare is only for the rich and the people that are well off. And if you're poor, well, maybe you don't really deserve to live anyways. It's a simplification of what's going on, but it's a very big reality. In the next few years, watch. I think the sign will be when the first privatized hospital opens up in this province, under the guise that it's, a better way, because our healthcare system's broken, because our government basically tanked our healthcare system. Mark my words. There are other things that WikiLeaks does too. I mean, there's good and bad, right? One of the things, interesting stories about WikiLeaks that really made me wake up was basically a leaked document about China. And if it's true, and a lot of WikiLeaks, what they're putting out appears to be true, because governments feel threatened like nobody's business right now. They believe that North Koreans are acting like a bunch of spoiled brats, and China might not be there to back them up if they do something really stupid. This is good news, because that was my biggest fear with the United States going in and doing those military drills, was North Korea would do something stupid, and have China come in to sort of back them up. That doesn't look like it might happen now, and hopefully the military exercises should end tomorrow or Thursday, and we'll be done with this for a while, and maybe North Korea, South Korea will work it out. We'll see what happens. So, 2 points. WikiLeaks, good. Transparency, good. Too much information, too damaging, maybe not so good. So those are my thoughts. This is the egg. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.